Okay, so the BC Cancer site would receive that requisition via a printout, and then they would triage and protocol this on paper. Then the scheduling clerk would receive this and they would know that it's now ready to be scheduled. So they would go into this application, which is called the scheduling appointment book. And here I just have open the BC Cancer Vancouver Pet bookshelf. You can see the books that they have on their bookshelf. And I'll just go into this Vancouver Pet book just to show you the schedule that they have built out for them. They have 2 pet rooms, pet room 1, pet room 2, and then they have different schedules built out. To find the patient order, we would just go up to this eyeball here, which is called appointment inquiry, and click on this, which opens up this new window. There's 4 tabs along here. I'm going to go to the request list tab. And here we just have to make sure that the filters are correct so that we're finding the patients that have been referred to our location. So it's request list by location, the pet initial queue, and we just need to make sure that our location is the Vancouver one. So there we have it, BCC VA pet, and then find. And then the one that we've just put in is here, this, I'm just going to make this smaller. Okay, so here is the list of patients that have been sent referral. And the one that we just did was the ED test Lizzie. You can see the date is today, 10th of September. It's the pet diagnostic generic scan at Vancouver Pet. And you can also see where the order was sent from. So the encounter that the patient was in when they sent off that referral was at SPH ED. So to complete this, you just right click on it. You can either click complete request or schedule. I'll click complete request. Now this opens up the appointment attributes window. This is where the clerk needs to complete some further fields. You can see at the top there's quite a few tabs, but we're actually only interested in the details tab and the orders tab. Now, in the details tab, it has pulled through some of that information that the ordering provider entered in the original order, but you can see there's this one yellow mandatory field box, which is asking if it's a research study. So I'm just going to say no for that. The remaining boxes are filled out. I have no further information to add. Then on the orders tab, you can see this is the order that has been entered, the pet diagnostic scan generic. We are going to switch this out for the specific body part. So in this instance, it's the brain. So I'm going to double click on this pet brain, which just brings this up into the orders that we're actually associating with this appointment. Now, the pet brain is highlighted and it's also pulled through some of that information that was entered on the diagnostic scan. So you can see the priorities being pulled through, the pet reason for exam has been pulled through, the patient history, which was a free text, has been pulled through, and there are a few boxes that still need to be completed by the scheduling clerk. So the first one is this pet assigned priority. They take that information from the protocol in, and I'll just pretend in this scenario it's 3. And then they can also change the pet radiopharmaceutical. It auto selects F18, FDG. I will leave that today, but there are other options. And the remaining mandatory fields have been completed, pulled through. And then what we also need to do is we need to cancel this diagnostic scan generic. So we just right click on that and select cancel, which just brings up this screen here where we need to enter a reason. Why are we cancelling it? So I'm just going to select exam replaced as we've replaced it with the pet brain. You can see that's there and hit OK. So once you've hit OK, it goes into this little box here called the work in progress box, or you may hear it referred to as the WIP. And once it's in here, it means that it can be scheduled into a slot. So I'm going to just use the drag and drop method. Different clerks have different preferences on how they do their scheduling, but I'm just going to drag this into the 10 a.m. slot. And the resource, you can see, is the same resource that I dragged it into. The default slot with the PET scan any. Again, this is all in alignment with what I dragged it into. And then the duration is editable if they needed to change that. But at the minute, it's set to auto default to 25 minutes. So I just hit OK. So you can see that this patient has been pulled into that slot and it's yellow, which just means it's pending. So it's not yet confirmed. So to confirm this, the next step would be to select confirm up here, which just opens up our confirm window. This is the information that's specific for BC Cancer Vancouver. It tells the patient the arrival time. So this has been all preset for them. It's not the appointment time, it's what time the patient needs to be at the medical imaging department, ready for any prep. It's 2 hours in duration, the PET scan, and then it's the preparation information that has been decided by the medical imaging team at BC Cancer. It's very specific to them. So we're just going to hit OK. Just to note as well, this can be printed out, so it can be sent directly to the patient or sent to their doctor. And then what we need to do is we need to create an encounter for this visit. So there isn't already a PET encounter here. We know that we need to create a new one. I'm going to select Add Encounter. And this opens up the available conversations window, and it's going to be an outpatient, so a pre-register outpatient. And we just get the organisation window. So we just need to select the BC Vancouver PET. Okay. And then it's just connecting us to the external MPI system. This is just a test patient, so that's not accurate for in the real domain. And then we get this pre-register outpatient window. So some of the information may be pre-populated from previous visits. So we can see there's a number in there that's pulled through from a previous visit. Some of the information's already been filled out. And then we also need to go to the Encounter Information tab. Encounter type will be a pre-outpatient. Medical service will be a PET. And then the reason for visit, the practice at BC Cancer PET is just to change that to PET, just for privacy. And then we're going to hit complete. And then we get the pop-up which has got the new encounter number of the encounter we've just created for this patient. I'm just going to say OK. And then we just go down to that schedule and we can see that the color has now changed to blue. So this just means that the appointment is confirmed, it's been scheduled in, it's no longer pending, and it's associated with that encounter that we've just created. So we'll just pretend now that the patient has arrived and that the clerk is going to check them in, ready for the exam to be completed. The PET scan cannot be performed without the patient being checked in. It cannot be done on AdNet without the patient being checked in. So this has to be done before the actual PET scan. So we'll just pretend that the patient's shown up. They've given me their name, and to check them in this instance, I'm just going to right click on it, go to Actions and Check In. So I would ask the patient to provide any ID for me so I can make sure that I'm checking in the correct person. This is a nice summary screen. I can see the date of birth, and I'm just going to hit OK. It's the correct patient. With the available conversations window, we're now registering them to an outpatient as they're here now, and OK. Again, just the test screen. Okay. So here's our register outpatient, which the clerks will be familiar with. This is where they check patients in currently. So where they would go through, confirm the patient's contact details, their contact telephone numbers. Any changes would be updated by the clerk here in these screens. And then on the encounter information tab, we are selecting an outpatient encounter type. And we're going to say that they provided us with their BC Care card with a photo. Then I would just ask the patient, is this still your PCP, or update it if I need to. And the referring provider should pull through as well. So they may need to fill out the insurance tab. It's already completed from previous. And then we just hit complete. This would open up the document selection window. It's auto-selected for do not print. This is all customizable for the build required at New St. Paul's. So now the patient is checked in. The colour has changed to green, and we can see there that it says checked in. So the tech workflow would now begin to complete this case in Online Worklist.